Hello, it's Black Shakina, and I'm doing another video today because I wanted to talk about July 4th. Today is July 4th, where the United States of America, or a lot of people in the United States of America, celebrate the independence of this country from England. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit as that pertains to African Americans, and particularly just my own thoughts and opinions about it. So I'm wearing white, actually at the suggestion of a Facebook friend, a friend I know from my former residence in Ohio. I currently live in the Atlanta area. And I'm wearing the white to symbolize the remembrance of my ancestors who were not included in the Declaration of Independence. In fact, women weren't included either. So the fact that I'm African American and that I'm a woman, yeah, I did not really, they weren't talking about me particularly when these words were written. However, I wear the white to remember those who struggled and continue to struggle to live at peace and full freedom in this land. I listened also to part of the speech today by Frederick Douglass about July 4th, and that there was ambivalence because he obviously saw the injustices done to his people, but at the same time, he saw some hope. And I also see that hope because the words of the Declaration to me are seeds. So although the people who wrote it did not include me, the seeds of the words, I include myself. And others of my ancestors included themselves. And they took those words and decided that they would be free. And I say that even today, we have reached a level of freedom, but to live in complete freedom from the racism weed that lives here in this country, we're not there yet. And I don't know if we'll ever get there, but we definitely can do better. And I believe that these current events are pushing us toward that, to do better, to live up to the words, the seeds that were planted, even though those who planted it were not including everybody when they wrote it. So I wanted to read the first part, or part of the first part of the Declaration of Independence. And it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. So I read that and I thought, all the talk about the riots or protests or, whatever people want to call it, it doesn't matter to me. But this government hasn't really represented my people as it should. So, of course, we should try to change it. And not just us, but anyone who believes in these words should also want to change it. Because the seeds are planted, regardless of if they meant it or not, the seeds are planted. But regardless of whether other people want it or not, we're taking it, right? We're taking that freedom. So I say this to also look at the words about creating a system that is holistic or treating the group well. So I'm speaking to other African Americans now, as far as what we, in my opinion, should be focusing on, and that is to creating a kingdom not in alignment with the current system. And I don't mean the system of just regular government, and there's some good things about that system, no doubt, but there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of people that this system does not really represent. And so African Americans, in my opinion, need to as we continue the fight and our allies continue to help us, and I want to thank the allies, those who truly understand human equality. I thank you for being in the fight with us. I thank you for that. Um, but we need to cultivate in our minds freedom, what that means to us. What does that look like to us? And then once we have that freedom, then what? So we're already partway there. But as we continue to work toward complete freedom, because again, we're not just doing these talks and these dialogues and these struggles and these protests just for us, but for generations down. Generations down. So, what will it look like? So, what does freedom look like to us? What does it mean to us? And then, once we do have it, or in the midst of getting it, then what? To me, there are common values that we can organize around and come up with a society that is good for everyone. But first, we have to continue to cultivate that energy, cultivate our minds in here. Each individual has to do that. Each family has to do that. Each community has to do that. And I am determined to be part of that solution, because while we're struggling and there's people resisting full freedom for everyone, we still have to cultivate the freedom in our minds and in our hearts so that we know who we are, we know what we're doing, and we know where we're going. So this video is just one of a little series that I'm going to be doing on this channel here and there about what does freedom look like for the African American. Even within our community, what does freedom look like? Because we have men, women, gay, straight, trans, we have all kinds of people. And although there's a lot of division about that, surely we can come to some kind of agreement that all adult people, all people really, should be able to live as they see fit in their land and their space, whether another person likes it or not. That's not really the point I'm making, but it's about being free. Because really, acquiescence under a whip is not being free. Acquiescence under a dogma, when that's not really how you feel, that's not really your truth, that's not being free either. So my desire is that everyone's free to truly be able to choose what they want to do in life as much as possible. Nobody, when I say everyone's equal, doesn't mean we all have the same mental capacity or the same height. I'm only 5'1". I wish I were 5'6", but I'm short. I have brown skin. I have short hair. There's all kinds of things that I cannot control. But when I think about freedom, it's about being able to do the best you can with what you have without people putting obstacles in your way. So I'm going to end this video here. I just wanted to give a brief little introduction to one of the things I'll be talking about on the channel. Of course, there'll be other things too that have to do with spirituality and esotericism, all kinds of stuff, world events, just the big questions. I would love to have some conversation and even healthy debate. So until we meet again, peace.